everyone. Today I have 5 cards to share made from the Spellbinders card kit of the month, and stay tuned because I will have 5 more. I'm going to do them in installments of 5 this time, and I'll also have 2 projects as well to share. Let's dive right in with card number 1. So this card's fairly simple, and I'm using a piece of the kind of a off-white grayish cardstock. I've made a panel out of that that's just smaller than a standard A2 size card blank, the card blank that comes in the kit, laying that down with some adhesive. And I'm just using my own adhesive right now because it's faster. Then I'm going to take the die cut of the word darling and glue it flat at towards the top left of the card. And so with this card, there's a little piece I had to poke out. With this card, I'm putting some things flat and some things raised up, as I like to do. So this little die cut says happy birthday, and I cut like a banner flag end into it, and I didn't like it, so then I trimmed off the white part because I wanted it to fit that way. So here are the other die cuts I'm using of the flowers, and I showed you that on the largest one I have mounting tape. Now with this one here, I'm putting it back together so you can see that I fussy cut off the greenery to use separately. So I'm going to lay this rose flower one here down in the bottom corner flat first, and it has some gold accent on it. So then fussy cut out that other one, and I'm kind of laying them around to see where I want them. I'm going to put some liquid adhesive just on the edges here because what I want to do is have it attached to the piece that's raised up. So I'm kind of just figuring out where I want it. And then I have this other die cut that I'm putting there just so that I know where everything is when I'm doing this. So I decide I like it like that, and then I press it down so it can grab on, and then I'm pressing it down further so that it adheres with that liquid adhesive. And kind of just, where do I want this? Yes, right there. And again, pressing it down to secure it and kind of finagling it around the mounting tape that you see there, which I have used every little scrap, and it's ugly from the back, but no one's seeing that side. And then I have to figure out again how I want this. So I'm a very, very visual person, card maker, and I also immediately forget when it's not right in front of me. So I'm like, how did I want that? I have to refigure it out. Now this die cut sentiment, today is your day, I mounted. So that is coming out. The darling is flat, the happy birthday is flat, the roses are coming out, and that's it. I hope you like that one. Next, we have card number 2, which is also fairly simple. I think this set of 5 cards are the more simple ones, easier. So I've taken these 2 papers, the beautiful rose print, and then this burgundy wine-colored cardstock. I adhered them together, and then I took my panel die and die cut them out when they were already together. And you must excuse my head, it gets in here a lot, and I will try to be more careful next time. So then I took the small die cut that die cuts this little border, and I cut it out 3 times in the gold cardstock, the gold paper, I don't know if you want to call it that. And I'm starting with the middle because that way I think I can do a better job at getting it evenly on there. And then I'm just gluing partially up this other piece because it's going to hang off the side. I don't need the whole thing. I decide that I'm going to overlap them just slightly. And this is adorning the seam in between the 2 papers there. And I like how that looks. So sometimes I like to separate and add a little ornament to where the 2 different papers come together where there's a line. So then I take my scissors and snip off the excess there. And then I have this chipboard sticker that says enjoy the moment with a butterfly. It's somewhat dimensional. Oh, and I'm fiddling with this extra piece that got cut, and I'm trying to figure out, I just decided I'm taking it off. It's not worth it. So then place this chipboard sticker down. I think I might add adhesive to it. I'm not sure. Once I decide, no, I guess I didn't. And that's it. That's card number 2. Beautiful, beautiful papers in the kit this month. I love all of them. So for card number 3, I have some of that pattern paper. There's a navy kind of background one with music notes, and then another floral, and then I am gluing this gold strip cut out about a 1/4 inch, I think. Maybe it's a little over a 1/4 inch. And I'm kind of tucking that in, like I said, ornamenting the differentiation between the two papers. I cut these pattern papers out like in a triangular shape. I don't even know what I'm saying here. And so now I'm just trimming off the excess here. And that other pattern paper you see has these beautiful flowers and peacock feathers, and it's all very vintage and lovely. So I'm using my tape runner to glue this down, and with this card I do not do this in the most efficient way. Here I press it down and I pull it back up in a few seconds here, and there was a mark on the paper I'm trying to get rid of there, and I end up using my white gel pen to cover that up. So then I realized, oh, I wanted to tuck this under here. Oops. So tearing this all back up, and because the gold strip is adhered with liquid adhesive, it hasn't fully adhered yet, so that came off. It was quite the fiasco here, but you know, that's kind of how things happen, and sometimes they're happy accidents and other times we just roll with it, right? So get that back where I wanted it, and I believe that I have to trim off the excess there. Get that trimmed nice and just where I want it, and then I'm going to take the adhesive roller, tape adhesive, and get this just where I want it before I can put the gold back. Put it back down where I wanted it, and then I have to get the gold, and I didn't think you needed to see me fussing with that, so there it is. Now at this point, yeah, I'm using my bone folder to get it nice and stuck down. Is this when I remember, oh yeah, I did something special with the edge here? So no, I'm not going to show you that yet, but in a moment I will show you how I got that kind of deckled edge, I guess you could say, or the torn edge. That's where I realize I have this ruler that has this nice metal edge, so I put it up there and then just tore it, and that's how I get that beautiful kind of rustic look there. So taking this chipboard bird cage bird sticker, and I have a couple scraps from the other cards that I've cut into banners there, and then I stamped a little bird told me from the stamp set in a navy colored ink, and cut the little banner flags out, and I'm kind of gluing those all together so that they stay the way I like them. Then I'll glue it down under the bird cage. Yeah, I don't know if I have the most efficient process, but this is how I did it. I'm kind of tilting it upward, not sure why. I like that though. And do I add adhesive to this? Yes. I felt like it wasn't sticking as well as I wanted it to, so I add a little liquid adhesive there and then press it down. And finally, another chipboard sticker, which is gold and it has bling, these music notes. I have it on the plastic so I can kind of move it around, decide I want it right there, and that's it. That's the end of that card. So next, we have card number 4. There's a beautiful paper, patterned paper. That's this lilac color with, I don't know, some kind of pattern. I'm not even sure what it is, but it's beautiful. And I didn't get that down exactly how I wanted it, so I'm sorry, there's the head again. Just ignore that. I put it down finally, I get it the way I like it. And I like having that little white border with the card blank that's included. This is one of the journal cards, and on the back side it's a definition for curious, but I loved this pale blue distressed music note, so that's kind of my other pattern paper, so to speak, in this card. So then I stamped the bird image from the stamp set, the bird's on a vine, not a vine, a branch, and I'm using it, I stamped them on white, and then there's that off-white grayish cardstock that I put beneath it. Here I'm talking about how I stamped the feather. Again, I used this Memento Nautical Blue ink, and then I also used, for the feather, I went ahead and stamped it again with the Versamark ink and that clear embossing powder, and so that's what I got that look. And so then I'm going to color in the birds with my Prismacolor marker, or not markers, pencils. And I just cut that whole thing out because my head kept getting in the way, and yeah. If you want to know the colors, you know, let me know right away. I still have them together, and I could figure that out for you. So I'm going to glue that down, adhere that down. I have so many of my smiles start with you, that stamp, or begin with you, something like that. I'm going to glue that. It's stamped on the white cardstock that comes in the kit, and begin with you, yes. That that I'm putting there in the corner. And then I have a die cut that says Life is Sweet with kind of the navy background. That I popped up with the foam squares. And I'm going to put this kind of coming out on the left. And then the feather comes in, and I'm not sure if I stamped the feather on that off-white cardstock or on the white. I can't really tell when I'm looking. I think it is on the off-white one. So there it is. That's card number 4. Pretty simple, except for the coloring. That took a while. And the last card, card number 5, has all kinds of things going on. So I pulled out my little mini die cut machine here. Sizzix machine. Not Sizzix, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. And I have the card base. Let's start with the card base. Then the pattern paper, these beautiful feathers. I'm going to put that down. And this is a full A2 card size die cut that covers the whole panel. So I have to be really careful to get it on straight. You can see there's a tiny little sliver of white, but you know, that's okay. Then this is a smaller die cut here, probably 3 by 4 or something, 3.5 by 4.5, something like that. And I'm gonna glue it on kind of cattywampus. Then I have the chipboard sticker with the flowers and the birds. It's hanging out in the corner. I've die cut the ornate frame there out of gold, and then its inside part out of this pink patterned paper that came in the pad. And I'm going to place that in the center. So I have the frame kind of where I want it, and I'm kind of auditioning where I want these things to go, actually. So then I have this journal card, and I just snipped off the top part of it because I wanted to use the navy part of it. And I stamped and embossed the key image from the stamp set in gold embossing powder, as you see there. Then I fussy cut it out. That's going to go down in the corner. And then I have this die cut that says friend, and I'm going to put that down below also. But I am going to rough it up with some vintage photo later. So I'm going to take the Thinking of You stamp and ink it up with Versamark ink and put it on the other half of this piece of that journal card that I cut off, preparing it with some anti-stick powder, and press it down. Get a nice, good, sticky image there. I'm going to take a scrap of printer paper, whatever it is, to collect my gold embossing powder and pour that over it. I'm sure you've seen people emboss things before, but for some reason I included that in this. And then, yeah, I didn't want to mess up my embossing, so I picked it up with my little tweezers there. And I'm going to take my heat gun, my embossing heat gun, and heat it up a little bit and go from behind to start. And the magic of embossing powder, it never gets dull. It's pretty amazing the way it puffs up. And so this is kind of a dark gold that I have, but I think, yeah, that's it. And it kind of goes with the vintage look. And so that's on there. And then included in the kit came this die that cuts out that sentiment. So that's why I have this mini, embossing, or not embossing, die cut machine out. And so that I can cut this out just perfectly, which is so much easier than fussy cutting it, isn't it? So I'll put it in there. It's a well-loved little machine. I just like how handy it is that it fits. I can do small stuff without having the big die cutter out. And to see how well that cut out, love it. And there's these 2 little birds on that stamp sentiment also. And so then I'm going to use some scrap of this mounting tape to put it on the back there and add some dimension with the mounting tape there. I don't think I'm going to press it down yet. I'm still figuring out how I want things here to go, because it is kind of an odd arrangement with things going left and right. And so now it's time to put some more of this vintage photo on that. I didn't want the white showing, but I like the border. So first I'm doing it that way, and then getting it a little darker on the edges by that way. Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense. Moving on. And there was some little things sticking out, so I had to trim that off. So I'm going to use the mounting tape on this little friend die cut also. Measuring to make sure I have no waste here. I'm going to use those little scraps, so for something else. In fact, I'll probably use those little scraps on the key later. So, fiddling. A little bit of fiddling here. Where do I want this exactly? And I think at this point, yeah, there's a little bit of finagling here because it's an odd arrangement, but I finally decide, okay, that's where I want it. I think I'm gonna commit to this placement here. Balance that out with the large chipboard sticker focal image on the bottom left there, and it kind of anchors this paper that's this panel that's crooked there. And then I'm gonna put, oh, I got a little extra there. I'm gonna put this sentiment down. Do I do it yet? I guess I have to still figure this out, huh? So there we go. Finally committing to the placement there. There was a lot of decision making with this one that kind of went back and forth. So now I decide, yes, I want the key to have dimension as well. And like I said, I'm using all those tiny pieces. And then I decide I need another one up here. So I'm going to add another one. Then it's time to take all that backing paper off. Put the key down. And it is, yeah, that's it. That's card number 5. What do you think? So I had so much fun with this kit, and here's a look at all 5 cards. I can't wait to get to the next 5 and then the 2 projects. Thanks for watching, and join me again soon. Bye!